Picks, September 17th. Yesterday we were actually 0-2, making us 12-8 over the last 10 days. What's interesting out of that 12-8 is the 3 of the 8 games I lost were the favorites. I only played 3 favorites out of 20 games and lost the 3 favorites. Remarkable. I actually been enjoying playing dogs. I just didn't like the picks yesterday. Felt like it was time to pivot back. Probably should have stuck to the system. Either way, 15 days of baseball left, 15 days to bet baseball left. I got 2 picks for you today. The first game is going to be Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, I've got it plus 120. The reason I like them is the predictive confidence over this game. It shows no pick because the delta is not, it's less than 25%, but you're also betting dogs, not favorites. That's why it shows up this way. Anyway, plus 120, we got some value here. Let me break it down for you. Both teams are basically in the same range on last 10 games. One team is 5-5, which is Pittsburgh. New York's 6-4. That's the same range because I do it in 2 game increments. So anyway, let's see here. The numbers for that range is 63% over the last week at 29-17 and plus 5.9 units. You can look at the split down here. Pittsburgh is actually fading the public slightly. Not a lot of value in that. But better than actually following the public. Right now at 42%, though, the last week is 40% at 8-12 and negative 4.1 units, so it's not actually proving out well. Home dogs, we've got 45% the last week at 18-22, but here's a key note, plus 1.2 units. You don't have to be 500. You don't even have to be well over 500 to make money on baseball. You just got to be around 500 if you're going to bet dogs. I think next year, honestly, I would love to have a year where I'd just bet dogs or don't play the day if I don't like the dogs. That'd be an amazing way to prove that out. I'm confident that that's right, but time will tell. You got to prove it out by doing it, not talking about it, right? Home road record here, we've got basically New York Yankees at 37-37 versus Pittsburgh at 37-40. Maybe a small edge to the Yankees being 500, but I don't think that's much of an advantage to the Yankees. This really comes down to pitching. You got Rondon over here, which has a WHIP of 1.42. In the last week, that's a 42% win percentage at 11-15 and negative 5 units, whereas Jackson down here, he falls in a lower tier at 48% versus 42% at 19-21, but negative 7.6 units. What's really interesting is the ERAs, and actually I've seen this over the last couple of days. The pitchers with really bad ERAs have been doing really, really well. Rondon is at 6.14, as Jackson is at 5.51. Both these guys are in the over range, basically the high range for ERAs, which falls into 59% win percentage at 26-18, and plus 12 units. So this game basically is a little bit better in a coin toss, favored towards Pittsburgh, in my opinion. When you're getting plus money, you got plus 50% chance of winning. I'm not saying a lot, like 55%. But here's the thing. Even if you go one-on-one on these games, you're making money. We expect to go 2-0. We want to go 2-0. But we know the playing dogs, it's a kind of a grind, but you can make your money. Next year, we're going to make a lot of money doing the same thing. So excited about that. Let's go to the next game for you guys really quickly. Next one is the LA Angels. The Angels, we have basically a plus 110. The predictive confidence is 25/0. It feels like this Detmer kid's been pitching every day. Every time I look at the baseball numbers or games, it's like this guy's always pitching, it seems like. Anyway, last 10 games. Actually, first, Passan model's even here, which is not a big deal. Detroit at 6-4, we talked about that range at 63%. LA falls into the 4-6 range at 47%. As far as the splits, I don't have the split data today. I talked about home dogs being at 45% in the last week. The home roads, you've got Detroit. Actually, it's interesting. They're actually 1 game over 500 on the road, but they're 10 games under 500 for the year. Pretty amazing. They're also 35-39 on the LA side with a worse overall record. These are 2 teams that are pretty much around the 500 mark. We'll call that pretty much a wash. Let's go to the pitchers. That's really what matters the most to me anyway. Wentz, he's got a 1.69 whip, which is, again, bad pitchers are doing well, 54% at 19-16 and plus 7.3 units. You go down here to Detmers, he's at 1.37, which is middle of the road. He's at 42%. Then go back up here to Wentz. Let's look at his ERA. Both these guys have an ERA over 4.5, which puts them in the high category for me, which I need to break these in next year down into more increments. But they're both in the 59% range because bad pitchers are doing well. So all things considered, we're going to take the Angels plus 2 units, plus 110. It's really going to be Pittsburgh and LA both on 2 units, both plus 110 and 120 for the day. And that's it for me. Shout out to my mother. Happy birthday to her. I'll be on my way up to see her shortly. And I'll be putting out a couple picks on football, which is where I usually do my most damage in a good way during sports betting. So have a good day, folks. Talk to you soon. Bye.